ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ So we are trying to ascertain the reality of the world which we transact every day. For that we took an example of a pot yesterday. And we take the pot as real. Upon analysis you find that it's a little mysterious thing. You cannot call it non-existent. A non-existent thing cannot serve purpose. Well, then it is existent. If it is existent, then where is that existent pot? Show us. Well, you cannot show it also. That is how this is mysterious. Please understand this. This is the only thing most of the philosophers who go against Vedanta are not able to understand. There is something called in between. So first let us ascertain the reality of pot, etc. And in that, as I was telling yesterday, we have to understand as mithya, etc. But what is this mithya, etc. before going into that? So, there are, in terms of reality, there are three things which in our daily living. One is this world, which every one of us transact. One is the world which you transact. You transact with your own world. I transact with my own world, which is not so objective, right? That's a dream world. Its reality should be different. And third thing is a non-existent thing. So three things are there. One is true, pot, or anything, or a thought, or a body. That's the one thing. Second is what you see in dream, is of different order of reality. And third is a non-existent thing, like a son of a barren woman, or a square circle, or circular square. It's non-existent. Circle exists, definitely. Square exists. Circular square doesn't exist. So these three things we know in our living. And this is real. Pot is real, means this world, etc. is real. So reality of an object, what we call real, is without inquiry. This is real What's a proof for that? Well, no proof. What proof? I am born with giving reality to this, basically. Say pot is real. The knower of pot is real. Pot is known, real. So the known reality, well, is to be understood in terms of our total vision of what is here. So, well, pot can be told that it is clay. Well, chain can be told it is gold, etc. But then the reality of ultimately the seer saying knower, known, etc. has to be assimilated. Now, when I say the pot is real, we have used up the word real to convey the reality of pot and other things, etc. Our understanding is, let us go further. Time is real, space is real, thought is real, memory is real, my ignorance is real, body is real, my senses are real, the place, the Pennsylvania state is real, this is real, that is real, etc. So, we have a reality words, and one is this real, the world. The second is we call false, dream world, etc. And third is an existent thing. So, three words, true, false, and non-existent, are used to cover our understanding, basically, of the realities in this living. Now, when we hear the word pot, let us begin with this. When we hear the word pot, immediately a form appears in your mind. And we cannot think of a pot, in fact, without thinking of something else. And because pot is just a word for a form, or the form is a meaning of the word pot. When you say pot, a word, what's the meaning? A form. That's our understanding. So beyond name and form, we don't know reality of even pot. Just think of that. We don't know. Therefore, the name and form, the word and its meaning is real. That's it. You inquire, then you find there is no pot. So you come across some reality because of which even pot exists. Could you follow? So pot derives its reality from something else, without which even you cannot think of pot. Form. Yeah. And so, what is just a word for a form? Well, and definitely, well, we have seen that the pot is basically is not a reality, but is not a false also, much less non-existent. Pot is a reality, right? It is, the dream part is false, but this part is not false. This part is non-existent, no. So it is neither a non-existent, nor it is false. Therefore, pot is real. What is not non-existent, what is not false is real. Could you follow? So this is how we have this kind of an understanding. But anyway, we have to ask this question, is the pot real? If it is real, well, when we see the pot, well, why do we see always the substance, the clay? Which is in this case, of course, a clay. So why are we not able to see the pot without seeing the substance? Just try to imagine a pot, a form, without substance, clay. You cannot. So anyway, if the pot is real, we should be able to see it without the substance. Pot is pot. Clay is, when you utter a word clay, you should see clay. When you utter a word pot, you should see pot. But at the base, what comes to your mind is a form. But the whole form is just a clay. The reality is not the form, reality is clay. Could you follow? That's the thing. So, if we don't inquire into this, a word and a form, a word and a meaning, name and form is reality. That's what I mean. So, to see the pot, well, we need not see the flower. To see the flower, you need not see the pot because they are different, but to see the pot, to imagine the pot, to think of the pot, you definitely need a substance. Therefore, pot and clay are not two independent realities like a flower and a pot. So we cannot imagine a pot without thinking of a substance. And as I yesterday said, the pot is not sitting on the clay. Pot is not inside the clay. Pot is not off the clay. In fact, pot is clay. So pot is clay means now the word real, which I have used for the word pot, should be snatched away from the pot. Because pot is clay. The very isness in the pot belongs to clay, not to pot. If isness belongs to the pot and not to clay, pot is independent. Right? Pot is existent. Clay is existent independently. Flower is and pot is. Well, existence of pot does not depend upon flower. Existence of flower does not depend upon pot. But that's not the case. For pot is, you have to say, even if you won't say, you have to understand the clay is. Yeah. Therefore, so if the pot is clay, because of our training, we assume that if the pot is clay, we also say the clay is pot. That's where we are wrong. In order for the clay to be clay, it need not be a pot. It may be a clod, anthill. It may be a lid. It may be a vase, or it may be just a lump of clay. So when I say pot is clay, generally we think clay is pot. That's not the case. If pot is clay and clay is pot means, they have a same order of reality. But if pot is clay, but clay is not pot, clay exists independent of the pot, then clay is more real than the pot. Therefore, word real I have used for varieties of the pots, varieties of the names and forms. I might have to snatch away. Then there is some reality behind all the names and forms. One reality, which is revealed by Vedanta, of course. Anyway, so clay can be anything, need not be a pot. Clay is clay, it's not a pot. We also cannot say wherever there is a pot, there is a clay. Because it's not true. There can be a different substance also. Wherever there is a pot, there can be a brass. Wherever there is a pot, there can be a golden pot. So anyway, it is clear clay is clay, it's not a pot. However, a clay pot draws its being from clay. If it is a clay pot. Brass pot derives its being from brass. So if we say the pot is, the isness belongs to clay only. If the clay were taken away, definitely, there cannot be any pot. We cannot bring a clay pot without bringing clay. So it is impossible, which means in this case, we must use the word real, not for the pot, but for clay. In other words, the definition of the reality from the standpoint of Vedanta is which lends existence to a given thing. That is real. And what borrows existence is something different. We have to use a word for that. Which is useful, which is having a form and a name, which is available in transaction, but yet not real. Yet not real. Anyway, so clay is the reality of the pot. So what real is taken away from the pot to cover our understanding of clay. clay is real. Then our thinking is, if pot is not real, then it must be false. Well, we have a pendulum-like thinking, so pot is not false. If pot is false, what fills up water? False pot cannot fill up water. Like you see, false means I told you in dream, you see a pot in dream, then dream pot, you have seen a particular pot in a dream which you liked, and after waking up you are searching that pot to fill up the water. You don't find anywhere. So if pot is not real, clay is real, pendulum-like thinking is pot is false, but pot is not false. Pot fills up water for me, for you, for her, for him, everyone. So that is not false also. Well, pot is not non-existent also. Could you follow? Because it fills up water. Pot is not false also. Please understand this. Pot is not false. Pot is not non-existent. Therefore, pot is real. Well, clay is real. Pot is not real. If pot is real, take away pot. Let the clay be with me. You cannot bring the pot without bringing clay. You cannot think of pot without thinking of clay. You cannot imagine even a pot. When you see a pot, there is an error in your perception that you are not able to see the Atma of the pot. Right? The truth of the pot, the essence of the pot. That is what exactly is happening. Before one exposes oneself to Vedanta, you see every names and forms. This body, one name, Muktatma, particular form, one name, form, one name, form, one name, form. All real, because every name and form, every form especially, serves a purpose. Just because it serves a purpose, it is real. We have never inquired into a thing that there could be one non-dual thing. One thing pervading everything, and that is reality. The Atma of everything may be the reality. These all are of different order of reality. A transactional reality. There are transactions between the forms. Somebody has asked question, Swami, if I is everything, well, I am coming to that later. I is everything, then who is husband and who is wife? Nice question. Really nice question. Who is guru and who is shishya, etc. That is also. Who is mother and who is son or daughter? Who is child? Yeah. So please understand. Well, so when the person says who is son, means there is no husband. If consciousness is there, means there is no husband at all. False. It is not false. The next moment husband says, come early, give me food, then husband becomes reality. Right? When you go away, after taking lunch, when you go, you will wonder, oh, I am there, the key of the car is there, the very car is there, the road is there. And what this fellow, the Muktatma, was saying inside, that everything is one Atma. This is pendulum thinking. If you say this is not true, consciousness is truth, well, everything is false, either non-existent. And then you see in front everything. You see the food. That shows perhaps a one reality. In this transactional reality, we are not able to somehow appreciate it properly. That is the issue even with all philosophers who are going against Vedanta. Pot is, we have proved it is not real, therefore, well, it is false. No, it is not false. It is not non-existent. So what is our understanding of the pot in terms of reality? Well, Vedanta Shastra says it is sad asad bhyam anirvachaniyam. Pot is neither non-existent, pot is nor existent. Neither non-existent nor existent. So this is a fourth understanding of a reality added in a living of a Vedantin, which is, you are there, the world is there, there is a transaction. before you come to Vedanta, the knower, the seer and the sight taken real. I am different, you are different. Taking name and form is the reality. This part, transact with that part. Not understanding behind both the parts, there is one reality. Behind entire earthen world, there is one reality, knowing which everything is as well known. Right? I am reminding you yesterday's question of a Shvetaketu to Dalaka, knowing which everything is as well known. Knowing the clay, everything is as well known, because entire pot is clay. There is no tangibility in pot. Even though you use it in transaction, clay does not transact. Pot transacts. You cannot say one clay transact with other clay. There is a transaction of the forms, no transaction of the reality. No transaction. Well, then the form is real. You cannot say form is real. Could you follow? So this is what it is. That's called mithya. Sad asad bhyam anirvachaniyam. So what is false and non-existent is called asat. What is existent is called sat. This is in between. This is in between. That's how it says anirvachaniyam. Means you cannot categorically say that it is existent. You cannot categorically say it is non-existent. The entire world is like this. I talked about a pot, but you can extend it to anywhere. Of course, we have discovered the Atma of the entire earthen world, all pots and all leads and all vases and all jars, etc. Entire earthen world with varieties of the names and forms, serving a varieties of the purposes. While there is a non-dual truth behind entire earthen world, which is the Atma of the entire earthen world, the essence of the entire earthen world, the truth of the entire earthen world is clay. There is no tangibility in forms. If there is a tangibility, well, I would to know this is clay, I have to unveil the pot. If there is a tangibility, pot cannot veil the clay. Pot cannot veil the clay. In your understanding, there should be correction. There is no veiling of the clay by the pot. Because same thing, now you understand it as a clay on analysis. Could you follow? So that is how this, here also we have to see now. Well, yesterday I said regarding the self, because the Upanishad says, idam sarvam yad ayam atma. So there is one atma which is idam sarvam. Like there is one clay which is entire earthen world, varieties of the names and forms with varieties of purposes. Same way there is one self which is behind all names and forms, starting from space, time, an entire universe. What is that self? What is that self? Well, we know the word I only indicates self. Right? We use the word I for the self. Therefore, there are checks also, they write self, I think. Self. Yeah. Nowhere there is a confusion in the world that you use word I for the non-self. Never. Including this, which is all the time there. All the time, 24 hours. You definitely use I for this. We'll come to that. But you never use I for this. Otherwise, you should say, I am a jibba. You never use. So something which is very close to you, I am using this, but I am telling you there are other things in family members. You may have a my sense, and it may appear also that the condition of the child is your condition. It may appear like that. If the child is sick, well, people will ask you, you are not well today, it seems. No, I am fine, but my child is not. So, even though condition of the child is your condition because of an association, close association like this, still you will not have a I sense in that. I am telling you. Otherwise, when you say your child is 2-year-old, you should say I am 2-year-old. You never say that. Child studies in a second standard or something. You never say I am studying in a second standard. So you are clear. You are very clear. Even though it is too close. And therefore, basically, everything is Atma means what? Then I said everything is self, means everything is basically I. Well, inquire. How to inquire? Start. Space, yeah, is equal to space is. Okay? When I say space, means space is equal to space consciousness is. Am I right? Because I said space is evident to I, means space consciousness. Can you say space is and is not equal to space consciousness is? Can you say that? No. Space means space existent. You say space exists, consciousness exists. I am conscious of the space. Space is evident to me and therefore space exists. What is that evidence? Is consciousness. Yesterday I told you. Therefore start. Space is equal to space is equal to space consciousness is. But Swamiji, existence belongs to the space. No, it is exactly existence belongs to clay, not to pot. Because even the space is not, Swamiji, that is not the case. It results in deep sleep state. Space is not, you are not aware of the space. You are not or you are. You are. So when the space is not, still you are. Space is, you are. Space is not, you are. Pot is, clay is. Pot is not, clay. Hoppa. That's what it is. Space is, consciousness is. Space is not. Consciousness is not. Then who says absence of a space? Who is aware of absence of a space? In a deep sleep state, there was no space. There was a one who has experienced absence of space. Time is, consciousness is. Time is not, consciousness is. Space and time you are not aware of in deep sleep state. No, Swamiji, but they were there, but I was not aware of. When you say they were there, pervaded by consciousness. Right? They are there. Means what? You are conscious of them. Right? Otherwise, how will you establish existence? So, space is, consciousness is. Space is not, consciousness is. Therefore, is consciousness is all the time associated with the space, like the clay is associated with the pot. Space is one name and form. Well, it's not real. The reality belongs to is consciousness. Consciousness is. Is called Sat and consciousness is called Chit. So, well, Satchit lends existence to the space. If you are not conscious of the space, where is space? Right? Space is an object of consciousness. That's how I said space is evident to me. Yesterday I said. And therefore you say space is, etc. Then time is. And then, well, all other things. Pennsylvania is, consciousness is. State is, consciousness is. Gurukulam is, consciousness is. The hall is, consciousness is. Without being pervaded by consciousness, try to prove the existence of anything, any name and form, without being pervaded by the clay, try to prove the existence of clay, a pot. Cannot. And therefore, space is, consciousness is. Here, the immortality, etc., is lying here. Yeah. So, is consciousness pervades space, time, all objects. Body is. Well, body consciousness is. You say body, means body is. You need not use the word is, but when you say body, means body is. Body consciousness is. And there is body consciousness. You talk about your body. You know the changes in the body. You know the condition of the body. You know the attributes of the body. You know very well. So body is, body consciousness is. Body is resolved. Deep sleep state, you are not aware of the body. Consciousness is. Even to have an experience, one needs a consciousness, of course. And you say, well, there was no awareness of the body in deep sleep state. No awareness of the sense organ in deep sleep state. So eyes are, consciousness is. Eyes are not. Suppose, even in a waking state, eyes, suppose somebody, because of disorder, eyes are gone. Well, you say eyes are not. So that experience of absence of eyes or presence of eyes is ultimately proven by what? Consciousness. Pot is, well, proven by what? Ultimately clay. Pot is not, still clay is. Same, exactly like this. So here, so this is how everything, space, time, and all the objects are pervaded by this is consciousness. Is consciousness. Well, the consciousness, well, that is I. Because generally, somebody asked me one other day a question, what is consciousness? It's an amazing question. What is consciousness? Consciousness is generally a qualified word. When you see me, there is Swami consciousness. Right? When you hear me, there is a word meaning consciousness. When you smell a rose, there is a rose fragrance consciousness. When you taste a particular thing, well, but you taste a pakoras. So that taste consciousness, pakoda taste consciousness. When you touch something soft touch consciousness. Hard touch consciousness, cold touch consciousness, etc. Hot touch consciousness. So consciousness is generally a qualified word, generally, which we call knowledge. So when you say, I have a form knowledge, I have a sound knowledge, etc., is nothing but this qualified consciousness. So when I say pot, well, there is pot consciousness. Body height consciousness. Body color consciousness. Body weight consciousness. Table consciousness. Car consciousness. The moment you say car or you understand car, already pervaded by what? Car consciousness is. So, what do you understand by table consciousness? Well, Swami, there is consciousness and there is an object called table. Right? So, table consciousness, table is an object of consciousness. When you say consciousness, what do you see? When I say table, you see a table, of course pervaded by consciousness. But when I say just consciousness, like, let's do this exercise. Table appeared, a form appeared. Well, and it is lighted, illumined by consciousness, of course. Otherwise, you will not be able to know the table. So, table, pen, chair, car, hall, all consciousness is appearing. When I say consciousness, we don't see anything. So, you don't see any meaning. When I say table, you see a form pervaded by consciousness. Consciousness. You don't see anything. You don't see any form. Means you don't see any meaning. And therefore consciousness is a meaningless word. No, Swami. That's not the case. If consciousness is not a meaningless word and the meaning is not an object, then what is the meaning of consciousness? Could you follow what I'm saying? When you say table, well, there is a table and consciousness, of course, pervaded by it. You don't say even still. Table is equal to table is equal to table consciousnesses. When I say just consciousness, no object appears in your mind. No meaning appears in your mind. Right? Therefore, consciousness has no meaning. Word has no meaning. No, Swamiji, it's not true. It's not like gaga buga. Yeah. Cha-cha chucha. No, it's not like that, Swamiji. It has a meaning. But meaning is not an object. Then what is the meaning? What is left? Which is not objectified. What is that? You. Which is never available for objectification. Everything you objectify. You are not available for objectification. No, I am also available for objectification. Then you have to bring some another I to objectify this I. Therefore, the meaning of the word consciousness is I. Well, which is in which even space is. The existence of the space is proven in consciousness. Existence of time is proven in consciousness. And therefore, I exist independent of the space, time, everything. Space is I, consciousness is. I am adding now I. Time is I, consciousness is. Space is not. I, consciousness is. Means I exist independent of the space. I am formless. Anything which has a form always exists in a space. And therefore, I am formless consciousness. That's how I said there is no breadth, width, length of I, which is formless consciousness. Timeless consciousness also, I will come to that later. So this is, I am specially limitless consciousness. Anyway, now look into this. When you say there is a moon, well, moon is in your consciousness, right? What is the distance between moon and you, the consciousness? Please understand. What is the distance between you and the space? Let us take first that. What is the distance between you, the limitless consciousness, and the space? No distance. When you say there is a moon in the space, then what is the distance between you, the limitless consciousness, and the moon? If you say the distance, still it is in what? Space. The very space is in consciousness. The moon along with the space exists in consciousness. Therefore, there is no distance between you, the consciousness. Don't think you miss this body. Then the whole thing will be, gone. You, the consciousness. Even the body exists in consciousness. I am coming later. So, you, the consciousness, and the moon. What is the distance? No distance. No distance. The very moon exists in consciousness. The very pot exists in clay. What is the distance between pot and clay? There cannot be any distance. If there is a distance, both are independent. Means both exist on their own, like a flower and a pot. But that's not the case. Pot is totally non-separate from clay. The moon exists in consciousness, while definitely moon is totally non-separate from I, the consciousness. The space in which the moon exists, the space is totally non-separate from I, the consciousness. Anything in this world which all exist in space, the entire physical world, well, is non-separate from I, the consciousness. Now come to the body. Does this body exist in space? Yes, it exists in space. Does the space exist in consciousness? Yeah, the space exists in consciousness. Then does the body along with the space exist in consciousness? Yes, body along with the space exists in consciousness, I. Then where is your location? Where are you located? Does this body exist in space? Yeah, it exists in space. Does this body along with the space exist in consciousness? I? Yeah. That body, all bodies exist in space. All the body exists along with the space in consciousness, I. Then where are you located? Where is I located? If space is located in you, where is your location? Yes, Swami, you should not ask this question. That's a silly question. You are all pervading consciousness, which is called Brahman in Shastra. I, the limitless consciousness which is all pervading, even pervade the space, pervade the time. Understand, the space is not conscious of you. You are conscious of the space. Space exists in you, the consciousness, not you exist in the space. Please understand this very well. If your understanding of I is still roaming around this body, all these my statements are useless. I means body. I means body. Then you will think that this I consciousness exists in the body. Could you follow? If you remain this, your awareness of I is as body, then all the statements which I said in last few minutes are all useless. If you understand that you are just a consciousness in which even the body is evident, the memory is evident, the thought is evident, the hunger and thirst is evident. Hunger and thirst exist in consciousness. When you say hunger consciousness. Thirst consciousness. Memory consciousness. Anger consciousness. Believe me. Otherwise, how will you say there is anger? When you say existence of an anger, well, definitely it is in consciousness. Anger consciousness is. You are aware of the anger. So any emotion. This is how consciousness, I pervade everything. The way clay pervades pot. Every pot is clay. Every emotion is I, consciousness. The very self, Atma of any emotion, the truth of any emotion is consciousness. The truth of the body is consciousness. The truth of memory is consciousness. The self, Atma, is truth of everything. Therefore, everything is ultimately one Atma alone. That's what it has been said here. Now, one more point I would like to discuss, and that is, when we say like this, everything is in consciousness, a simple question arises is this, that if everything is in consciousness, I should know everything. I should be aware of everything. But you find you are aware of only few things. Right now what I'm aware of only few. Entire world I am not aware of. And you say, Swamiji, entire physical world along with time and space exist in consciousness, then I should be conscious of the entire world simultaneously. No, that's not true. Why it's not true? Well, what appears in your mind, you are aware of. What doesn't appear in your mind, you are not aware of. But still you are aware of. You are aware of that most of the things have not entered your mind. As unknown also, you know. And known also, you know. There is nothing away from consciousness. Well, from this unknown world, if something appears in the mind as a thought, image, well, you know. And that thing now goes to the known category. Could you follow what I'm saying? Like, we have this ashram has a certain boundary. There are few people inside this boundary. In the Gurukulam, there are majority of the people outside the boundary of the Gurukulam. But with respect to space, all are inside. Right? With respect to these walls, well, some are inside, some are outside. But with respect to the space, everyone is inside. With respect to the walls of the mind, some are inside, known. But most of them remain outside the wall of the mind. Still they are known as unknown. Otherwise, how will you say many or most of the things are not known? Means that is also pervaded by consciousness. Could you follow what I am saying? Therefore, consciousness is the self of everything. Everything means everything. When you say consciousness pervades even space, time, and all the objects, there is no division at all now. Right? All divisions are possible, forms are possible, divisions are possible within space. Whereas space exists in consciousness, you pervade. The way clay pervades the pot, the way gold pervades the ornament, the way water pervades the wave. Swamiji, why you are giving example? It's coming. It's coming now in the verses which we have not opened yet. The way water pervades the wave, entire wave is water. Can you prove the existence of anything even in a fraction outside consciousness? Try. The whole thing exists in consciousness. The whole clay exists in, a whole pot exists in clay only. In fact, the pot is clay. And therefore, space is Atma. The time is Atma. That's how we have a Devatas. This consciousness, all limitless consciousness, the Brahman, Parameshwara, from one particular standpoint of a manifestation, we call it Devata. Akasha is Atma, Brahman. So we have a Chidambaram temple in Tamil Nadu where Akasha is worshipped as Ishvara. True? Vayu is worshipped. Right? All elements are worshipped. Most of them are in Tamil Nadu somehow. Most of them. Yeah. Agni is worshipped in Kalahasti, I think. Maybe. Yeah. So all are worshipped. And therefore everything is Atma. Body is Atma, the space is Atma, time is Atma, everything is Atma. Anyway, so this is how consciousness basically is all pervading consciousness, which is the self, I, and therefore I am Atma Brahma. I am Brahman, which is, Brahman means basically limitless in terms of limitless in time, limitless in space, limitless in attributes. Limitless means there is no limit of time, no limit of space, no limit of given attributes. No. Anything which has attributes is always limited. Anything which has attributes has some more attributes which are not there, few attributes, means it is always limited. In fact, you recognize anything as an object because of attributes. Because of attributes only you recognize as object. Consciousness is, or the Atma is free from any attributes, free from change, free from birth and death, because timeless. And therefore, Atma is Amritaha, immortal. You are immortal, but you take yourself to be mortal. Taking this, the body, which is like a pot. You are a clay, but you take yourself to be a pot. Then definitely, pot is mortal. That's true. That's how it is. Pot is mortal, breaks. If you take it as yourself as a clay, well, relatively you are immortal. Before the birth of the pot, you are there. While the pot is there, you are there. Pot is gone, you are there. You are immortal. Yeah? You are timeless consciousness. That is what Bhagavan said, na jayate mriyate va kadachit. Nayam bhutva bhavitavana bhuyah. So if you identify with the body, mind, sense complex, which is within the fold of time, you take yourself to be time bound. You take yourself to be subject to old age. You take yourself to be subject to changing. You take yourself to be subject to birth, death, everything. And then subject to punya papa also. Everything. Everything is you. You are independent of everything. Right? Pot is clay, but clay is clay. Clay, for existence of the clay has not to depend upon pot. So this is how everything is you. The whole world is you. The space is you, time is you, body is you, mind is you, anger is you, hunger is you, thirst is you, good memory, worst memory, everything is you. Then Duryodhana is also you, yeah. I'm coming that, don't worry. That's going to come. Car is you, key is you, husband is you, wife is you, everything is you, yeah. If you bring something which is not really you, I cannot help. When you say husband is me or wife is me, what do you think? Then what you think of yourself? You think of yourself as limitless consciousness, or you think yourself as a male body? Yeah. What can we do, Swamiji? That's an orientation. That's true. That's an orientation. One has to, in fact, deorient oneself. This is the reality of you, which you cannot negate. To negate, I am not consciousness. You need consciousness. Try to negate consciousness. Other than consciousness, so-called non-I, comes and goes. Space, time, body, etc., everything. Mind, thought, memory, ignorance, knowledge, hunger, thirst, everything comes and goes. Consciousness ever is, lending existence to everything, pervading everything, illumining everything. That's how everything becomes evident to you. But you are ever is. That's called Sat. Means your existence is not dependent upon anything. That's how I said yesterday, self-existent. You exist because you exist. You know you exist. You know you exist because you exist. That's how it is. Self-existent, self-evident is the reality of you. Self-revealing, reveal yourself and revealing the world. Revealing time, space and everything. Tvameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. While, doing a Karpur Arti, we say to Parmeshwar, Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Tameva bhantam. Basically, you shine, self-shining. And therefore, everything shines after that, including luminaries. The luminaries, sun, moon, and lightning, and the fire which illumines the world, they are illumined by I, the consciousness. Sun shines for whom? Whose eyes shine, right? If someone has no eyes, where is this bright sun? It's not. Maybe a hot sun, that's true. Where is the bright sun? A person has no eyes. So basically, even sun shines because eyes shine. Eyes shine because the mind shines. If mind is not behind the eyes, nothing shines. For some people, right now Swami is not shining. Because when will he complete this? I don't know. He's boring guy. Yeah. If mind is not behind the senses, nothing shines. So sun shines because eyes shine. Eyes shine because the mind shines. Mind shines because I shine. Mind is evident to me. I am conscious of the mind. Mind is not conscious of I. So before thinking, you exist. Before you imagine, you exist. Before you recollect, you exist. Therefore, you are not dependent upon mind. Mind exists on account of you. Mind shines on account of you. I shine because I shine. It's my nature. Consciousness is my nature, which is self-shining. So there is Karpurarti to Ishvara in this sense. And that way I and the Ishvara are one and the same in reality. See? He has a one form with Maya Upadhi. I have a different form. But form is mithya. The truth behind the form is one. Whether it's a big pot or a small pot, right? Big pot or a small pot. So this is different, this is different. Oh, this is big, this is small. True. But the truth is the clay alone. Therefore, Tattvamasi, you are that. So you are that Ishvara in reality. With Maya, Upadhi, etc., well, there is a difference. He is Samashti, I am Vyashti, etc. And now knowing this, identifying with the body, one transact. Because as Atma, I don't transact. But in a waking state, I have to transact. How will you transact? With a name and form. Clay does not fill up the water. A particular form of the clay fills up the water. Transaction. So while this particular name and form, I transact in a waking world as a husband, as a wife, or anything. But that's not the reality. The reality behind everything, husband and wife, or anybody else, is one thing alone. That is limitless consciousness, Brahman, etc., which is self-existent, means whose existence is not dependent upon anything, means existence is nature, therefore it's never going to be non-existent, therefore free from birth, death, old age, etc. This is what it is. Now, in the last class, as I said, we'll take up the verses. You will find, Swamiji, this is so simple now. Really, we'll take up after that. This at 11:15, I think, today.